Welcome to the report to the CIGRE Australian Technical Committee regarding the Australian Panel B4 activities for DC systems and power electronics. My name is John Wright-Smith and I am the convener for the B4 group, and this is my B4 report. The scope of the B4 group covers HVDC, FACTS and DC converters. Our study committee looks at HVDC systems and their applications regarding the planning and implementation, the application of new technologies, and the refurbishment and upgrade of existing HVD systems. On DC for distribution systems, we look at DC applications and new concepts and technologies and designs. And in FACTS and power electronics, we look at planning and implementation of new FACTS systems, the application of new technologies in FACTS, and refurbishment and upgrade of existing FACTS systems, including SVCs. The scope, in terms of the context for Australia and New Zealand, we certainly have been an early adopter of both major HVDC technologies, LCC and VSC. So there's the Inter-Island HVDC system in New Zealand. We have Direct Link HVDC in New South Wales, Murray Link for Victoria and South Australia, and Basslink in receivership for Victoria and connection to Tasmania. Australia's been using FACTS devices on our transmission distribution networks, 11 to 33 kV, for a very long time. Over 165 SVCs and STATCOMs on transmission distribution systems in service since 1977. And there's been a recent drive for the connection of inverter-connected renewable energy sources and storage systems, which has resulted in the need for very large STATCOMs being put at the point of generation. In terms of the technical direction, the main changes in technical direction observed within the last 10 years up to this year: more applications of VSC, more feasibility and development on HVDC grids, more applications in other areas with joint efforts with other study groups, application of DC technologies, certainly fewer LCC working groups, and there have been fewer FACTS working groups. Industry drivers are offshore renewable energy sources, use of inverter-based solutions, reducing grid strength, and the distribution applications driven by a balance between centralized renewable energy generation and dispersed loads long distances away. So for B4, the working groups that have completed their assignments: B438, capabilities and requirements definition for power electronics; B476, DC to DC converters; B470, guide for EMT studies with VSC converters; B475, feasibility study for VSC valves; B474, guide to real-time simulation models; B478, cyber asset management; B483, flexible AC transmission systems or FACTS controllers, commissioning, compliance testing and model validation tests, a superb document; and B437, medium voltage DC systems. There are many working groups currently within the B4 group, and please have a look at this slide and go through if there are any areas that are of particular interest to you. And there are some new working groups that I'll talk about next. So in terms of our activities, we've certainly got a green book on FACTS, which is published and available for purchase or downloading. And there's a green book on electricity supply of the future that's published as well. The new working groups are B490, which is operation and maintenance of HVDC and FACTS facilities, led by Les Brand, a superb group; B491, power electronics-based transformer technology of interest to Australia; and B492, STATCOMs at distribution voltages, a working group led by myself. For those interested, please get in touch with myself, John Wright-Smith. We also have the HVDC Compendium, an online compendium of all in-service HVDC systems around the world, and that's being updated and revised this year and available on CIGRE. For contributions to the B4 working group, I'd like to congratulate Les Brand. Superb effort where he has been awarded the CIGRE Pioneer 2020 eSession Achievement Award. And again, congratulations to Les for his efforts in the 2021 virtual centennial session for CIGRE. The general summary of feedback from all the events was that it was superb. So congratulations, Les, for being the special reporter for Paris 2021 technical session, an outstanding effort. For the B4 panel itself, in Australia in our membership list, we had our meeting on Wednesday, the 3rd of November. It was hosted by AMSC. We had planned to visit Ergon SVCs and held the meeting in Queensland, but due to COVID, we did it virtually. 2 CIGRE NGN webinars were presented this year with excellent attendance, and the new convener for B4 is myself. And there's a list of some of the people within our group. So global trends in HVDC, certainly an increased application of VSC technology for long distance renewable energy applications. That we're seeing hybrid VSC systems coming out, which are combinations of half bridge and full bridge to provide cost-effective ways to manage DC fault current for overhead HVDC line applications. Certainly there are innovative ways to address AC system issues. We're seeing synchronous condenser technology in South Australia, StatComs all throughout Australia and New Zealand, and as larger and larger wind farms are trying to connect to the grid, demands from AEMO are increasing regarding dynamic VAR capabilities of the wind turbines, StatComs, etc. There are medium voltage DC projects that are coming out, and certainly there are more global interconnections occurring as countries connect between each other, being able to either import or export renewable energy. Global trends in FACS, we're looking at unified power flow controllers with load flow control and reactive power compensation in one solution. Some grid forming SVCs that provide inertia support with power semiconductors or IGBTs and grid forming control. And surprisingly, a move back to synchronous condensers and flywheel because inertia is an enabler for renewable energy system strength and frequency control, and has allowed South Australia to increase its exports and go to higher levels of PV, being responsible for generation within that state. There are certainly SVC retrofits, and they tend to be now with StatComs and cap banks just from an economic point of view. And in terms of AEMO, the connection requirements are demanding larger and larger StatComs for getting a model approval to connect to the grid in Australia. I'd like to thank everyone for their time, and all the best for 2022. Thank you.